Well, there was mixed reaction from parents about the continuation of the Barbados Secondary School's entrance examination. Some say it's the challenge children at that age need. Others believe it puts way too much stress on their sons and daughters. CBC teams visited some of the examination centers this morning before the test started and spoke to some of the parents as well as the children. Shane Seeley reports.
Scores of parents here outside of the Parkinson Secondary School this morning, and you'll see similar situations playing out at secondary schools turned examination centers across Barbados as thousands of primary school students sit down to do the common entrance examination. About 3,700 of them, split evenly between boys and girls, are doing the exam today. And this morning we got a chance to talk to some of the students before they went into the exam, and also some of the parents about their feelings about the 11+ examination. Following a motivational speech from Parkinson School Principal Jeff Broom, these Wilkie Cumberbatch students told me how they felt going into the examination.
Pretty nervous.
Pretty nervous?
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel confident.
Which subject do you prefer, math or grammar?
I prefer math.
How do you view going to do the math exam today?
I like it. I get 72.
I feel great. Not really nervous or nothing, but it's one of the important day of my life.
Revising, checking over the work that you do before, and pay attention to your work.
Okay.
I am not frightened for the exam because I'm confident of myself.
And don't matter what you do, just because it don't matter where you go, you learn the same thing, and you do the same CXCs, you do the same thing, you do the same work.
Now, after the students went into the classroom, we spoke to some of the parents. They were pretty much split about keeping or abolishing the exam.
I think it should continue with it because it gives children a challenge. It might not give them as much challenge at school with their peer, but going amongst other children, they will try to do more than they're accustomed to doing.
They would have abolished it before her turn came, but you know, I haven't given it a lot of thought. Maybe they could
abolish it, but then the question would be what would be put in place.
Abolish it why though? Think it's too much stress?
It's too stressful. I've known a friend of mine, she had a son and he was doing quite well and he didn't come at entrance. He could not perform.
No, I don't think it's too much pressure. I think more so the parents that put pressure upon children.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's a chance for them to see what they're learning at primary school. Put all the tests together and test themselves.
Shane Seeley, CBC News.
And later in the afternoon, there were scenes of relief as the children emerged from the exam centers. CBC News spoke to a number of them and their parents outside the Springer Memorial School. Scores of parents, friends and family waited patiently outside the Springer Memorial School in Government Hill this afternoon to greet their charges. A police presence added to the tense scene. Just after 1 p.m., there was a rush as students ran to greet their loved ones. The 4-hour test was finally over. There was general optimism among the students about their performance.
It was quite easy.
Yeah. What so the maths, English, what?
All two, except for the composition.
Okay, so which school are you looking to go to?
Combermere.
It was very good. It was kind of difficult, had me a little bit nervous, but it was good.
Okay, so which school do you want to go to?
The same machine.
And that would be what?
Harrison's College.
Why not Combermere?
Maybe. That's not my second choice. My second choice is foundation.
It was fine, but the maths section 3 was a bit challenging, but the grammar and composition was okay.
Okay, and what school do you hope to go to?
St. Michael's.
Very fun, and it was so easy. I think it was very easy, especially the maths. And I think I did very well, and I want to go to Combermere.
Most of the parents were relieved that it was finally over.
I'm still nervous, but for them, I'm happy that they've completed the task. They've studied hard, and hopefully that they can receive success.
It was really hard at first, but every evening I asked her, Kiana, are you ready for this exam? She said yes, so that made me more relaxed then.
Relief. It was very, very hard during this week, but the kids, it was like, it's all good for them. They were quite comfortable, while the parents was
all jittery, all the way off my shoulders now, so he should be all right.
I think it's a question of fulfillment. Feeling fulfilled that you have done your bit, and hope for the best from the child, and look forward for that new chapter in their life.
Barbados registered a slight increase in unemployment and a marginal reduction in tourist arrivals, according to the latest central bank report. Governor Dr. Delisle Worrell says unemployment ticked up last year compared with 2012 as economic activity in the country fell by 0.4%.
The average unemployment rate for 2013 was 11.7%, compared with 11.6% in 2012. The inflation rate for the 12 months ending in February was 1.7%, well below the 6.3% averaged in the corresponding periods since 2008. International reserves remained on par with year-end 2013 levels, standing at $1.1 billion at April 30th, equivalent to 16 weeks of import cover.
He also says arrivals in the all-important tourism sector were down.
Long-stay arrivals are estimated to have decreased by 1% in the first quarter. The number of UK visitors grew by 8%, buoyed by the introduction of a new chartered service from Manchester and strengthening of the pound sterling. Arrivals from other European countries rose by 14%. However, with the cancellation of American Airlines direct flights from New York, as well as the reduction in demand and seating capacity by Air Canada at the beginning of the year, visitors from the US and Canadian markets fell by 8% and 10% respectively. There was a 1% reduction in cruise passenger arrivals.
Prime Minister Fendel Stewart has described the recent 6th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Association of Caribbean States, or ACS, as exceeding the expectations of those attending. Mr. Stewart further expressed the view that with the commitment Mexico President Enrique Peña Nieto to the work of the ACS in tangible terms, new life was breathed into the association. Prime Minister Stewart led a delegation to the one-day conference in Mexico. On the sideline of the summit, Barbados held bilateral meetings with a number of countries, including Panama, El Salvador, and Martinique. The summit brought together 31 countries and welcomed Martinique, Guadeloupe, and St. Martin as associated states for the first time. It was held on the 20th anniversary of the forming of the ACS, and its many achievements were highlighted, including the formation of the first sustainable tourism zone in the world. Renewed concern about the number of overweight children in Barbados. This is one of the findings of a survey conducted by the Barbados Statistical Service and the United Nations Children's Fund. The information is contained in the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey report. A national consultation on the MICS is now underway to discuss the findings at the Hilton Hotel. Child nutrition was one of the areas examined.
So there's the issue of stunting, that is quite 7.7%, wasting is 6.8%, and the really worrying one is this issue of obesity. It has been said, the data, these are all national level data, and this data is also further disaggregated by parishes or groups of parishes. It's also disaggregated by age, it's also disaggregated by gender, and from the peak I've had, it seems the boys are a lot fatter than the girls. I wouldn't know why.
The report also raised concerns about other issues that need attention in Barbados, including violent disciplining of children. Meanwhile, Minister of Social Care, Steve Blackett, says the information in the report is expected to close some of the data gaps in available statistics in the island and can also be used for monitoring some of the Millennium Development Goals.
It provides specific information on children and women with critical vulnerable groups that were not the primary focus of attention of the CARC report. The dovetailing of the MICS and the CALC reports, therefore, will be very important and relevant in reporting on and assisting with Barbados's developmental agenda.
Primary school children have a new avenue to develop their skills in theatre arts. It's a facility called the Smart Arts Room, located in Waterhall Land, Eagle Hall, St. Michael. Founder and creative director Janelle Mitchell says it caters to a maximum of 20 children between the ages of 6 and 10. She explains the idea for the room stemmed from a desire to share her knowledge of theatre arts with children while helping them to improve their reading, thinking, and creative skills.
What I want is children to become more artistic and expressionists in their own right, because what I find is a lot of children don't know how to articulate their thoughts, and once we start from reading, which is to help the vocabulary building, help the thoughts to come clearer, help them to chart a better future for themselves in terms of opening up the imagination.
Ms. Mitchell says the response so far has been positive, with many people asking her to consider taking on even younger children.
I had some parents expressing to me to start at an earlier age. They want to encourage children to get more involved in reading. They told me up to two to four that I need to do it. And I said, well, maybe that would be my next phase, because that would definitely have to be storytelling and not reading, because they can't read at 2.
Well, there is concern this evening that non-national women are shirking their parenting responsibilities, which is leading to serious conflict in the home. This from chairman of the Men's Educational Support Association, Ralph Boyce, who was speaking at a recent meeting of the organization. He adds that he's also been receiving reports of alarming cases of physical abuse between non-nationals and nationals.
In one case I'm aware of, the man actually went and committed suicide. So there's some people who come into Barbados and exploit the situation, and then it results in violence, and some people bring in people and say they're their relatives, and in fact the persons don't relate to them at all. They bring them in as their men, and mainly men, and then sometimes fellas discover what's going on and you get problems. But the Commission is pointing to the fact that we need to look at the phenomena of the non-national coming into Barbados and doing things.
Mr. Boyce would like the Cave Hill campus to conduct thorough and reliable research on domestic violence. A prominent educator believes there's need for greater partnerships within the Caribbean to promote heritage tourism, as he is of the view that the individualism that currently exists is getting us nowhere. So says chairman of the Caribbean Conference of National Trusts and UWI Cave Hill Campus Professor Emeritus Dr. Henry Fraser. He was speaking to CBC News ahead of the Caribbean Conference of National Trusts, which runs from Thursday until Monday at the Savannah Hotel. Professor Fraser says working together allows respective territories to access international funding, which he says is sadly lacking in these tough economic times.
What we aim in this conference to do is to bring together people to share information and then to develop partnerships so that everyone knows what the other person is doing. We can work together. And if you work together, then you have a greater opportunity of accessing the international agencies, of making an impact with UNESCO and ICOMOS and all of the big funding agencies to help us with preservation. Because preservation is sometimes cheaper than new building, but not always. And to be able to acquire properties that people have neglected and to restore them clearly has a cost, and we need to work together on it.